Yo, 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 what is up? It's Overcat Fantasy, aka Bobby. Um, Here for another day of best ball streaming, day 2 of 2. We're back on these streets and super exciting. So yesterday I kind of went through a lot of my process for what I do in an ideal situation, but I think it's important to put ourselves in unideal situations, just a way to kind of change groupthink and a way to kind of question our own priors. I'm a debate coach, so I think it's fair to question anything that we think or believe, especially with fantasy, right? How many takes do we have are just like unfounded or vibes based that we've convinced ourselves are like not vibes based? So what I'm gonna do for the first 3 rounds of this draft, and then we'll try to land the ship, is that I'm going to use RNG for those who are not familiar with what RNG is. This is what video games actually use to um, determine kind of randomness in their games. So, for example, I'll give you a simple example. Probably most people know, at least my people my age. You're playing Pokemon. Throw a Pokeball. Whether or not it will catch will be based off of RNG. So it'll be like, oh, we're gonna end up if it ends up within a value of this, then you caught it, and if it doesn't end up within that value, you didn't catch it. So randomness, anything that's random in video games uses this concept in some way. Obviously, I'm simplifying it. I'm not a coder. I'm not a I like to game, but I'm not that cool. But I love RNG for randomness, especially as a teacher. I use it for for setting orders for things. That way, it's never me. It's always random and it's fair. So what we're gonna do today is I'm going to, before each of my first 3 picks, pick a number. I'm going to hit generate and exampling it now. This one doesn't count, but 8. And basically, I'm going to go that number down in the ADP queue as that pick. So, if I get a 1, then I'll be the very next, I'll be top of the queue. And then if I get a 12, there'll be a whole round down. So we can get some really weird things going on. And the goal for this, I'm hoping, is that we'll get a unique and interesting team. Today we will draft on underdog. So let me just get myself into a draft here. Uh, Best Ball Mania, yes, please. All right. And are we 22nd? Yes, so here we go. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna use RNG to determine. Okay, we got 10 spots, so we got some talking that we get to do. But basically, what I'm kind of hoping with this idea is that we'll get something random. This isn't as dramatic as people using the randomizer or coming up with all these crazy schemes, but hopefully it creates some uniqueness. And I think in best ball, in a large field tournament like this, it's not bad to be unique. I think I encourage it, and I tend to, as long as you're not pulling up someone like, 5 rounds or something. Like, I always like when I see someone make a pick that I'm not, that I wouldn't make, unless they make like 6 in a row. Then I'm like, maybe you're just bad. But I always want to be. Once you do enough of these drafts, I've been drafting since April. You welcome the unique and weird drafter in your room who's doing some crazy stuff. All right, so I got one more person, and I'm gonna RNG this right when we start, just so that I have a chance to count. So, how's everyone's days going? I hope it's going well. A question of the day that I have here in the back is, who's your favorite stack? And that could be quarterback, player, it could be team. Okay, we're starting. Okay, we're starting. Let's see what RNG maybe will be kind to us. No, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So chances are we're going to be taking. Actually, let me do ADP. These are priorities. Okay, so we're gonna. So Jamar starts. Justin. So 1, 2, 3. So that's what I'm thinking. It'll be 4th in the queue. So if we start off, Moon Tower 77 starts us off with the common Jamar. I mean, his ADP is 1.1. The next is 2.8. Very clear. But we're all on the side of maybe Jamar's the dude. But so not too terrible. We're gonna get some interesting. I'm gonna probably do them back to back. So you're gonna start with Jamar. All right, starting with Jamar. So fourth in the queue, we can all agree, no cheating. Not trying to cheat the system. Using this lean in my improv background, we're going to yes and some picks today. We can looking at the draft when I have the time to think about it, looking around at badges. So we got our red badge here. Got that. Last year I thought I had won enough to get it, and I did it, and then randomly like one draft like in May, I'm like, do I have a red badge? So I feel cool, officially a badge bro. But we got some people here. We got some red badges, some some black badges, and a few folks who are here just vibing. All right, we got an interesting kind of. I don't know if gives to the sixes is interesting as I feel like it is, but it might be. So, good afternoon to everyone who's here. I do apologize. I will probably not be checking the chat too much, as I'm new, so I don't have a lot of people joining us live. But I hope you enjoy. If you're watching this later, I hope you're having a good time. If you aren't watching this, then you wouldn't know me saying that. So let's see. Let's look at this board style. So we start off pretty normal draft, I'd say. Puka 7, Nico. I'm probably similar. I prefer Nico over Christian. I think Nico Collins is just like, he wasn't hurt last year. Like Nico, I feel like Nico is like a great example of like last season we cut off the season early. Is he the top of this tier, or is he even like maybe joining the bottom of this tier? That's possible. All right, we're gonna see how RNG wants us to be. All right, 3, it's being nice. And so we're going to go 3 slots down below on our second pick. Let's generate our third right now. All right, 5. So nothing too crazy. RNG being nice today. Sometimes RNG is nice, right? Sometimes you immediately get the lucky thing you're looking for. But this early, figured do something different. So we're gonna queue out of there. So this will be the 3 spot right here in the 5. So again, we're just gonna whatever's there. Whatever the board gives us, whatever the room gives us, is what we're gonna do. Brock Bowers here. I have a dream of like. I know it happens very rarely in drafts, but I have a dream of Brock Bowers making it back to me. I know this wouldn't work for the RNG situation, but just in general, I want one Jamar Brock Bowers team somehow. He'd been drifting back, but it looks like people are kind of back in. Nothing too surprising here, lad. Making it all the way to 21st. To me, that's where there's kind of a tier break. I am on the clock. So 3. Oh, can we get Trey McBride? Okay, RNG said you get correlation today. So thank you for that, RNG. All right. So, and then the 5th pick. Maybe we'll do RNG for the 4th and 5th round too, just because I feel like this isn't that unique. So 1, 2. So we're 1 pick away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Terry McLaurin here is a bit steep, but maybe, I just really believe in the Jaden Daniels. That's what we'll tell ourselves. I have too much Terry McLaurin. All right. I said that. Said I was going to give us correlation RNG. No, for some reason I had taken Jamar Chase. I don't know why. Why did I think that? I think I just saw his name. I think part of it with so when I created my tool that I sometimes use for drafts, which I'll show you how it works here. So we got Jamar, and I'll put a link to this if anyone wants this in the chat. And then we got Terry. So what I like to do here, so this basically I created this tool. It's free. This is the original version of it, and then you just file, make a copy. This is for this stream today, and then we'll say RNG. And then maybe I'll put a note to myself here. What was it? 4, 3, 5. Just how many spots of RNG or RNG, ADP. There's too many three-letter acronyms here. So what this tool does is basically it creates, it lets you know who your stack. These would be your green, and orange would be people you correlate. The way that I'm different, I'm definitely down for some week 17 correlation, but I think week 15 and 16 matter just as much, if not as much, not if not more. So I try to correlate every pick in some way. That's the fun thing to me about best ball is creating these like kind of constellations of outcomes, if that makes sense. Is the way I think about it. The term I use is correlation trees. But basically, we're creating these like layers of correlation. Is there? It would never happen, but could you imagine if Jaden Daniels made it back to us? I would. Please. I'm gonna use ADP. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I talked about this last stream. I made my own ranks for the first time, but I didn't do it like the proper streamer way where you have spreadsheets. I just did clicky clackies of like, this one's next. This one's next. That's so I did that. And there's a few players I missed, and so I'm trying to remind myself to sort by ADP for it because I'll miss players, and of course that's me just maybe getting used to having my own ranks. It was too good to be true. Let's do the one more of this. Okay, a 12. Oh goodness. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no. There's probably better ways to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5, 6, 7. Jalen Waddle. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right. So who? Oh, so I'm taking Joe Mixon. I just believe in Joe Mixon here. God, that feels so bad. Oh, that feels so cruel to myself. This will be our last RNG. Then we'll see. 9. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. This RNG is like, you know what? We believe in the old guys. So thank you, random number generator. You served your purpose. And now we will do our best to land this plane. I just feel like it wasn't, I don't know, punished. That's the, I never want to think about picking Terry McLaurin and Trey McBride as a punishment. That feels a little rude. But we're getting different, right? Probably Alvin Kamara and Joe Mixon often are probably picked on, this side of the board. They're picked over here normally. So see first I kind of like the first moon tower. I like the double run. I like the kind of triple running back here. Strong. I think it's interesting looking if there's any interesting weird teams. Jalen Hurts goes to the AJ Brown drafter. Sutton. Do you like Sutton more than I think most people? I feel like people have a huge vendetta against Sutton. I'm like, nah. All right, so far the team, because of RNG, we got Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, oldest running back room, and then we got CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin, and McLaurin, and Trey McBride. So we just got some veteran studs that we're saying are just going to be veteran studs. Already looking at this, I wonder if this is like a Dak kind of team. So let's see kind of where we're at next. Okay, so the next area we're picking in is the 71, 70, that area. All right, so what do we got going on over there? So I guess like Debo, if we want more Washington, I don't want two Washington pass catchers without Daniels. So Myers, maybe there's a world where Olave falls to me. Probably not going to happen. Probably not this world. Just everyone be scared of him. Everyone just be scared of the Saints. I'm also like becoming more on the Shuck train. I didn't realize like until recently how like athletic he is, and so I think that's really, that's really important. So I just realized my main microphone is not plugged in, so I'll fix that. Oh, you have a blank screen. So I'm gonna also change that. So we're killing the streaming game right now. Sorry, I made the terrible error of minimizing, which is so foolish of me. All right, so my audio might improve dramatically in a couple of seconds. Kenneth Myers. Can all right. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I don't know if it changed to the right mic, but we're not going to worry about it because we're on the clock. And on the clock, we do get the Chris Olave fall. We are blessed on this day. Thank you, RNG. The RNG gods knew we would get Olave. They're like, listen, you need to take Kamara early so that you can get the closing line value on the dip. Ooh. God, who do I take here? Okay, fourth. It's so hard not to want to take. I think I'm low on Reed because I just always take Matthew Golden. Pearsall's interesting. I did have him on my team last year that did well, but that was only week he's ever done great in his career. So it's like tough. It's like someone I want, like, if I'm going to take him, maybe I get this ADP right. Yeah, Godwin's probably going to fall. Debo scares me. Myers was probably also fine there, if not maybe the more optimal if we're doing if we're going full correlation. Okay, go back here. This is why I like this like tool that I built. Is like it just makes it's actually pretty fluid on Google Sheets. And then read. Most of the time I'm drafting, I probably use this the first couple of rounds and I kind of set like what I'm looking for. If we're in a stream draft, I would probably like add a bunch of players to my queue that are just popping up here. But and like I know there's tools that you can buy that do overlays, and like I will probably get one of those and use in the last couple of weeks of August just to, kind of the benefit of those tools, in my opinion, is when you have a lot of volume, this allows you to choose, like see, like, oh, I have a lot of this player. And I do think it's important. Yeah, I have your player takes, but I do think it's important to have some, have variety of teams because, like, last year Process was right to pick Rashee Rice, but also he got hurt. Process was right to pick Chris Godwin, but he got hurt. And so, I think in a game like this, where process sometimes can matter more than results, right? You have to like make sure you're doing good process. And I think that's true of a lot of like luck-based things. And I think a lot of things have luck connected to them, even things that are games of skill. There's like levels of luck and unpredictability, right? And so that's where, leaning into it is important. But trying different things, making sure it works, especially in like a peer-to-peer kind of game like basketball, right? I think that matters a lot. All right, so are we thinking about quarterback? Not really. Okay, but after the next set of picks, I'm gonna queue up quarterbacks just because, like, if I don't put them in my queue, I forget they exist. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD. I once did an online appointment thinking I might have it, and the guy was like, "No, you just have terrible anxiety." And I was like, "Screw you, yes." And I have like if something's not in front of me, I forget it exists. It's like that me in the fridge. Like if I don't see it in the fridge, I forget it exists. Like it's just like it ceases to exist. That's how I'm with like notifications. I will respond to a text within 10 seconds or 10 years. There's no in between, right? That's kind of how I am. And I apologize to everyone who knows me that's had to deal with that. Part of me, so we're getting here. Mahomes is falling, but there's really no benefit in that. There is a world where maybe we take Kyler. Do we have any Jags? No. Guess we can take Pittman. I'm not like super excited about it, but this will probably encourage me to take later. Tank Bigsby, who's if anyone was a brand guy, might be Tank Bigsby for me. The so the reason Tank Bigsby is a brand guy for me is I was last year in the Fantasy Footballers Listener League, which was like a really cool experience. Shout out to them; they're all really awesome. Um, yeah, I don't. I had Kyler Murray last year in a redraft team, and it just didn't feel good. So I haven't taken him out this year. But the whole part of RG is to take different players, right? I love Trey McBride, but I probably wouldn't take him there normally, just because I get so scared about wide receivers. But wide receiver room's pretty good, and we got a solid running back core. So I think we want to probably maybe add in a running back. This is probably a two quarterback, two tight end team. Usually I'm doing three at one of the onesie positions. But this will allow me a little more draft capital on some of the others. So we'll see for a second. Like if we get Jordan Love, but even then I might want Shuck anyway. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, the reason Tank Bigsby is a brand guy for me is so I was in the Fantasy Footballers Listener League last year. I submitted a video. I was that I was one of 7 picked out of 1,000. It was really cool. It was like I was super excited. It was like a kid on Christmas, like yeah. And so there was a bit last season, in the last off season, where they always list their my guys, which is like their players they stand by, whether it's they have good ADP value or you think they're going to hit. And on the episode, they're going Andy was going to say Tank Dell, R.I.P. He's alive, just very injured. And they edited to say Tank Bigsby, and he kind of, they were making fun of it, how bad Tank Bigsby was. But at that time, I'd actually seen a training camp report from the Jaguars beat writers that are like, actually, Tank Bigsby's like good. Like he's not what he was last year, and it's a different, it's different. It's a whole different situation. And so I was kind of high on Tank Bigsby last year, and he ended up being the best running back in the Jacksonville Jaguars team. And so I went to like a live show there wearing like a Tank Bigsby shirt. I love Tank Bigsby. And so in the league, I faced Andy, and I drafted Tank Bigsby as like one of my last picks, 100% for the bit. And so I faced Andy, and it was a good matchup. And I was like, let's do this. And I put Tank Bigsby in against Andy, and that was Tank Bigsby's best game of the whole season. And Andy in the next pod was like, I got Bigsby over the weekend in multiple leagues. Well, I was one of those leagues. So Tank is deep down a brand guy. But I still like him this year. We don't know about Tootin. I have taken a lot of Tootin. I've just avoided ETN. I avoided him last year, and that ended up being the right decision. Might not be the right decision this year because his value's fallen enough. Why am I like so low? I've made that mistake before where you scroll a little bit and all of a sudden it's your turn and you're like, I'm going to pick the guy at the top of my queue. Oh, no, they're not the top of the queue at all. So sometimes in this situation, if it works, I'm very tempted to go Ingram and then Knicks and call it a day if you let me. Will you let me? Okay, we're going to take Ingram. And the reason for this, we're going to be done at tight end. Doesn't really hit correlation either, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. We can throw a 18th round Rashard Smith on here and feel good. Oh, so that was okay. Wow, Moon Tower took 2 of my stacked quarterbacks, but I took Ingram, which means you didn't take the highest one in ADP. Moon Tower 77. I'm on to you. I'm ready for your schemes, your plots. So, man, I don't think that's intentional. in any way. Like, I don't think this person was like, screw this guy next to me. So, and especially Mintower complimenting your team earlier, and this is how you do me so dirty. But it's okay. We were prepared. So, and then I guess when it mattered the order I did that. But why did you take Love and Prescott? I mean, Prescott makes sense. You got okay, that makes sense. We just both have Packers and Cowboys. So how dare you for picking the same teams as me? Only I'm allowed to draft those teams. All right, so we're good in tight end. So this is a unique position for me. Maybe this is why it's good I did this, right? I'm not the type that often does two tight end to um, two quarterback. If he falls to the 18th, I might take Sheck there, which has happened. Might as well get my third, especially like Kyler scares me, but like look at that ADP value on Bo Nix. Why did he fall 2 rounds? He's like one of the best rookies we've ever seen last year. It's just like Jaden Daniels was like the best rookie we had ever seen. So like we forget about Bo Nix. But Bo was really good last year. Let's see, Houston Saints. I'm trying to think. Do I have any Titans? I'm always down for some Tajay Spears bags. So Chargers correlate, but I feel like I only want Najee Harris because potentially blind. Probably isn't. But the Chargers have been weird and like very suspiciously quiet. Because like there's very easy ways to prove things. Just a photo. Right. And I don't think the Chargers are galaxy branding it where they're like, we're gonna have everyone in the league think Najee won't play. And we're gonna sign Nyheim Hines, who you may have forgotten existed because he's fine. Like that, none of that screams good vibes to me. That's why I'm like, I kind of want him only if he falls like if he falls to the 14th, 15th, sure. Okay, we need some running back. So I'm gonna queue up Grendo. And yeah, this is also this might be a Trey Benson team too. He gets there. Okay, so I might want this might be also a good draft to have like 18th round Burton with Cincinnati. I don't really want to. Maybe this is like maybe you stop at running back for a bit and then you go like Taj Spears. Oh my god. Taj Brooks. I was thinking of oh my god. Oh, that was a good neck crack, y'all. I hope the microphone caught that. If not, then just my enjoyment then. Watch a lot of those ASMR like chiropractors. Not a lot, but I get in a mood. It's so I don't know why it's so relaxing to see someone else just be maybe it's because I want that done to me. Oh, please, Pat Bryant, make it back to daddy. Make it back to daddy. I should not have said that. I did not say that. Okay, let's see. Do I want to update this sheet? Might as well. So we're falling, and this is kind of the thing I mentioned. Pittman, I forget. I don't think this is the order, but who cares? It was Pittman and no, did I include Pittman already? And then we got Ingram. And so what's funny about this tool to me is you're about to probably see Bo Nix is like you kind of end up getting like a lot of players like that get coverage. And I guess like kind of my point behind this, like you could see like there's so much correlation when you start really mix matching teams. It's like just then there's so many players to pick from, you might as well pick. Oh man. Oh, you see how much higher my rank is for Tank Bigsby than these are my two highest ranked. Makes sense where I'm gravitating towards them. Oh, you took Tank from me. Why would you do this? On the day of my yeah, this is why I don't like doing two tight end uh, to quarterback. Like, I would love Strange here for correlation, but it feels like you're investing too much, and then I just don't have like. Wait, why do I want Jacksonville anyway? Oh, because of Pittman. It's not that big of a deal. Probably want Washington more than that. No, we got that stack, which I didn't even realize. Oh, RNG, thank you. I didn't even realize that. That was awesome. That's awesome. Do we have any? Okay, we're definitely gonna take you. But then who do we take next? Is the real question. 6 wide receiver. This might be like a Michael Wilson kind of team. Okay, this is where I feel stuck. We did. Did we take a 49er? Yes, we did. So we could go Johnson here. Get that correlation. I'm just such a slut for correlation. It's such a problem. Okay, let's figure out how we want to land this plane. So we start with Kyler, Bo Nix. We got a running back room of Mixon, Kamara, and then 3, dart throw contingent value running back guys: Garendo, Benson, Johnson. A wide receiver room: CD, Terry, Olave, Reed, Pittman, Bryant. I definitely want this. Probably like a 2-6-8-2. That's the vibes it's giving me. Okay, but we did mention I can have Taj Brooks, Burton as a late dart throw. I'd also mention Chiefs getting that correlation. So probably if correlation matters to me, then I probably want Smith over and then have Burton be like my last pick. And then the question is, do I want a 17th round Shaq? Is that what I want? What do I want with my life? To be famous? No, I don't want to be famous. I just want money and not to be known. Want those two. I wish those two things weren't so hand in hand, I'd love to be like super wealthy and I walk on the street and everyone's like, look, it's that guy wearing glasses. And I'm just like an unknown entity. That'd be the dream, I think. All right. Let's get the pretty board view going. So trying to see if there's anything crazy. Like, this is interesting. 3 tight ends in a row. This person just goes on like positional runs. Kind of don't hate it. Yeah, you usually don't see people like go back to back on like onesie position. So he did that there and then 3 times in a row there. Kind of dig it. I got the love likely. Lots of correlation here. And this person, like, think like a mistake people make because they see a badge or not. And it's like, no, this person clearly understands some stuff. At least I think so. They understand stacking. All right, so hoping Smith makes it back to us. My question is this like a 7-7? So that's what I'm wondering about. I mean, realistically, what you probably do here is, was Wilson taken? My boy Michael. Were you taken? Oh shit. I'm drafting. You were taken, Michael Wilson. Okay, well, that's why we queue people up. Oh my goodness. All right. Going Brown there. You get the Jacksonville stuff I had mentioned before with these two. And I just think it solidifies my wide receiver room a little bit more. Here, I probably don't care which player. Do I? I got like 2 studs and a bunch of dart throws. Questions, do I need that many dart throws? Oh no, I did that again. All right. So I used to stream using OBS, so I've been using StreamYard, and it's a lot simpler in a lot of ways, which is good, but also I think creates you took Burton on the day of my daughter's wedding. You've done this to me. Okay. Uh I also have this option if we feel good, which I kind of do, but I do. This is a problem when I have a quarterback. I want some correlation, right? And so like we got that with Bo Nix and Smith. Okay, I think we'll do it this way. Why would you take Joe Milton over literally like Shuck, who's going to be starting? Yeah, we could also take in Jalen Royals. Man, this is where I like the underdog. Like I like drafting on underdog more, but man, I just love the 20 rounds in DraftKings. Like I could draft these 3 players and I feel so good about it. Okay, I know like a lot of the data shows it's probably better to take Shuck here. Because like you got 2 sets at running back. Like my fourth wide receiver is Jaden Reed, who's like the best wide receiver last year on the Packers. Pittman, like, yeah, I feel good about. We're gonna take Shuck. It feels weird. It feels wrong, but I don't know if it feels wrong. See, this is where I wonder. It's like, so I thought about this when it comes to drafts. It's like Bo Nix fell here a bit, right? He fell 2 rounds basically. So if you're drafting a quarterback 2 rounds later, that then I think gives me more justification for a third, even though he's good enough and these 2 are good enough for a just for a 2 QB build. Like I think you should never go 3 in the onesie positions if you were reaching on those usually. Like unless it's a bunch of back end guys, and of course, like if you have to reach, I've definitely done in my fair share of like, okay, it's the last 3 picks are tight ends because I haven't drafted one yet. I've done that many times. But I wonder, like conceptually, like when you think about the game of best ball, if you get value, a couple of rounds of value on a pick in that area, it almost then justifies more like interest and involvement in draft capital in that particular position group. But then there's the obvious, like, yes, but maybe you got him in the 10th round. I'm just making it rounds, and it's an 8th round pick, but like he's still an 8th round pick in terms of value. So I don't know. I just think that's something interesting to think about. I'm sure like there's probably eventually once we're best ball 25 or whatever, there'll be enough data that shows like you're getting closing line value in that position group somewhere else. Does it like justify then taking more of that position later because you haven't invested as much in it? I don't know. It's just an idea. But thank you all for joining me today. Hopefully, my goal is to try to do this every day this week and maybe next week. My goal is to, while I'm off on break, to really just take advantage, stream. I would love for people to join, but if no one joins, that's also fine. We're just vibing. It's best ball summer, y'all. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.